Welcome to Blinkety Bloop. I'm Drew D'Amelia.
And I'm Nick Padula.
And just in case you didn't know, Blinkety Bloop is a podcast where we talk about movies that have come out in theaters recently. But it's not just a podcast. Blinkety Bloop is also the name of our band. The two of us are part of a band, and others that, well, we don't have to get into them now. But it is a great band that happens to share the same name of this podcast, and we just want to make sure that when you think of Blinkety Bloop, you're not just thinking of a movie podcast, but you're also thinking about a wonderful musical experience, right?
Right, yeah. Number one priority, the music part. But, the movie part's cool too. Don't forget that necessarily. If that's what brings you to the music, that's cool. Just remember the music.
Yeah, remember the music. I like that. You gotta remember the music. Blinkety Bloop.
You bet.
Anyway, speaking of Blinkety Bloop, I hear that we might have some social media being rolled out by the time that this episode gets out, which is cool. And by us, I don't mean the band. Yeah. I mean the podcast, Blinkety Bloop, which is nice.
Right.
Because it's going to be cool that the podcast has a Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff.
Exactly.
But we really need to get on our stuff. And I knew, because I knew Mrs. Seelan was going to be rolling this out, and so I thought, well, we should roll out our stuff too. But I guess it's embarrassing. We haven't been able to figure it out.
Yeah, it's been frustrating, to say the least.
And so I put it out to just my regular old Facebook friends saying, can someone please help us out with this? And somebody messaged me, and they said, hey. And it happened like 50-ish minutes after I posted that on Facebook.
Not too shabby.
So I was certain that they were reaching out to me because they wanted to help. They weren't very detailed with their response. But and I said, hey, are you contacting about the Facebook page and making a Twitter? Because that would be incredible. We could really use somebody's help.
Yeah, it'd be great.
And you see that the person read it. And nothing. I gave a polite hour, and then I got back like, hey, I don't know if you got the last message, but I'm really looking forward to working with you on this page. Mm-hmm. Guess what happens?
What?
Nothing.
The old leave 'em on read
fucking
routine.
Nothing. I'm fucking done with people like that. I'm just trying to get shit done. Why would you say, hey, if you weren't even gonna offer any kind of conversation? It'd be one thing if they said, oh, sorry, it was a misunderstanding. I don't actually know how to make a Facebook page or something like that. They just left me hanging. Nothing. I'll check right now to see if there's anything.
Some people are just so inconsiderate of your time.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Oh my God.
There's not a thing.
That's really irritating.
It is really irritating. I'm so angry about it. Honestly, I shouldn't have brought it up because it's making me, I don't know, I feel like it's going to influence my opinions on these movies now, but
don't let it throw you, though. I mean, don't let one inconsiderate person pull down what could be a fun podcast.
I thought you were going to say pull down my pants.
Well, I mean,
I do feel like pantsed in a metaphoric way.
In a emotional, you've been emotionally pantsed by this inconsiderate internet
I
person.
went up to this person and said, can you please help me with my pants? And they just ripped them off.
And you're like, that's not what I meant.
Basically, that's not what I meant. I mean, we joke, but this guy could die in a fire. That'd be cool.
Whoa, okay.
I'm just really angry. I'm sorry. Fuck this guy. I want Blinkety Bloop, the band, to have fucking exposure, especially if this podcast, I mean, hopefully the podcast takes off, but whatever, we have to
move on to the actual movies, right?
Yeah. You say that so professionally.
I mean, I wasn't the one.
Move on to the movies.
I wasn't the one directly affected by this.
I'm just. So. I don't know. I don't want to stir things up between us, but are you as angry as I am about this? Because I'm pretty pissed off, and I feel like Blinkety Bloop deserves to have social media, and I don't know, you're not seeming as pissed.
No,
but maybe it's internal or something.
It definitely does deserve the media attention. I'm just trying to internalize it and make sense out of it in my own way. I don't want to snap at this person. Maybe they were going through a rough day. Maybe they made a mistake. I don't want to judge them just in case they're not as bad a person as we're making them out to be. We don't want to start a witch hunt against this person who just said, hey, you know?
You're so calm about it. I don't know how you're this calm. I don't know. Maybe am I overreacting?
I don't know if you're overreacting, but maybe you got to look at things from that person's shoes. See where they're coming from.
Can you say one angry thing about this person? Just that'll make me feel better if you just get a little bit pissed off for me.
I mean, they probably do drugs.
You know what?
And not even not the good kind. They don't smoke pot or anything. They probably do hardcore heroin, and to make that money, they probably steal cash from their parents.
That was not the direction I thought you'd take it, but that does make me feel better. I mean, if you were going in they're just doing marijuana, that wouldn't make me upset at all. But I mean, I thought you were just gonna say that person's really inconsiderate, but
I go in.
You really developed a backstory for this fuck.
Yeah.
All right. Actually, yeah, that lifts my spirits a little bit.
I'm glad I could cheer you up with a story about drug abuse.
I might need more pick-me-ups throughout the rest of the podcast. We'll take it movie by movie.
All right.
But we can start with A Wrinkle in Time. Nick, how did you feel about A Wrinkle in Time?
Well, there were moments throughout it that gave me, like, a little blip of emotion. Like, there was one part early in the movie where the dad's like, my love for you will follow you throughout the universe, or something along those lines.
You're referring to the one part I wasn't there for because I walked in a minute late.
You walked in a little late.
So and I missed one of the key blips.
The blips of emotion I felt, and I almost and the music was swelling in a certain way, and I felt like, that's kind of beautiful. And then, my brain was deceived into thinking maybe the whole movie will be like this kind of emotional compellingness, and it wasn't.
I mean, for me, I think the movie was strongest when it was doing its metaphoric thing. Because ultimately, it was a movie about how you have to love yourself for your flaws, and the entire world and all the scenarios that were created were meant to manifest this. And it wasn't always doing that, in my opinion. Sometimes they had creative things, but they didn't really serve the metaphor at the moment. But I think about halfway through the movie, you got what they were going for. And toward the end of the movie, they really just went in and sunk their teeth into it. Those are the parts I liked the most, is when they really went for it. There was that whole world, I guess it was a world / a character / a monster, but it essentially represented your hatred for yourself.
And fear and all the, worst parts of humanity, negative aspects of, emotion.
Yeah, and that was the stuff I liked. And I do think that's a bold theme. I think that if they didn't really go hard, it would have sucked. Yeah. Because loving yourself for your imperfections, you got to actually talk about legitimate imperfections. If you're just saying generic stuff like, you're dumb, or you're a goof.
That's not really selling the theme.
I won't let the darkness overtake me.
I'm not a goof. Wait, no, I am a goof, and it makes me great.
You're a poop head. Oh!
I am a poop head, and that's what makes me me.
They were making some biting statements like, your dad doesn't love you, or you only care about yourself. Just genuinely harsh things. And that made it work for me. I feel like they could have made it even harsher.
The one thing that made me go, oh, holy fuck, these bullies are really cutting deep was when, because the girl's dad goes missing in the space-time continuum, and they leave a note on her locker that says, you should make like your dad and disappear. And I'm like, oh my fuck,
Yeah.
you're a goddamn monster. You should be in prison, not in fucking middle school.
That almost went too hard for me.
Yeah,
because
oh god.
I appreciate it. It's really
dark.
brutal.
Yeah.
But it's like, really?
It's
like,
it's kids. They can't think of an insult that, like, existential.
I guess the thing is, for me, it just felt like it came out of nowhere. Like, the movie didn't feel like it was setting itself up to be that biting and gritty. So you suddenly get glimpses of that, and the whole movie isn't like that.
It's very
unfortunately
whimsical and fantastic. Not fantastic in a good way, but fantasy-based.
Yeah, which doesn't help, and the grittiness comes and goes. It really does.
It doesn't stick.
And just in terms of things I liked, I did like that whenever she transported to a different planet or fucking whatever, it wasn't working out for her. But when she finally learned to love herself and she was able to transport, that was a genuinely beautiful moment. Because before she wasn't able to see anything. And then when she could finally love herself, she just saw this beautiful imagery and she was just so happy. And as an audience, you got to feel that release with her of just the benefits of finally being able to accept yourself for who you are.
Yeah.
And that was great. I liked, some people could call it cliched, and I suppose it is, but I like the general idea of love conquers all. And I'm a sucker for metaphors and having emotional problems manifest themselves as interesting creative obstacles. So I liked the premise, I suppose.
Yeah.
But
it left a fair amount to be desired.
I was very bored for a long time.
Yeah, like a lot of for me, like the start of when they get to the It planet or whatever, like it wasn't doing it for me. Like they're in a big field of wheat, and I'm just like, why are they in a big field of wheat? What's this? Why is this evil?
Some of the planets were creative.
Yeah.
Like the one where you have to balance on things. I went, okay, that's something. But then, the first planet you see is like, wow, grass.
It's just like, this is Earth. This is Earth. Like, I saw, like, a weirdly shaped mountain in the distance, but that was the only thing to indicate, hey, we're not on the same planet we were just on. Like, this isn't Earth. This is much better. And I'm just like, there's a river, there's grass, there's a blue sky. What the fuck are you talking about?
They had, like, chuckling flowers.
That's pretty cool, I guess. I mean, when you take LSD, you probably see chuckling flowers, too, so that could happen on Earth, too.
I looked away for a second. And then I looked back, and there's just this giant-ass leaf lady. And I'm like, oh, okay.
That was Reese Witherspoon. She turned into the big leaf lady.
You're fucking with me.
I'm not fucking with you. She
no,
twirled around, and leaves grew out of her.
Are you
and she
fucking
grew into
serious?
A plant lady.
That was Reese. That was her character?
Yeah,
she was the leaf lady?
Yeah, she was flying them.
What the fuck? Really?
She was flying them through the air, and then... And then when she lands back on the ground, she twirls back around kind of, and you see the leaves grow back into her.
I didn't even notice. I didn't know that was her.
It was a very weird transformation. I was like, CGI Reese Witherspoon as a plant scares me.
Yeah, it looked horrifying. It wasn't good CG. But also, so that's her power? She could just...
She's Mrs. What's-It, because, like, what the fuck is that?
Can she turn into other things?
We never saw that.
Yeah, because it happened toward the beginning of the movie, and
it just
then
happened once.
She never really did anything else.
Yeah.
And it didn't... There was no point to it. Like, no. Why?
She's just like, look at the planet, it's so beautiful, we're flying around, this isn't Earth, see, there's big testicles floating in the air.
Well, there's the one moment where the kid starts falling, and then Leaf Lady goes, she starts soaring down to catch him. But then the other two magical ladies are like, flowers, go catch him. And the flowers somehow break his fall.
Yeah, by getting in a big pile.
What should have happened? He's falling. He's gained so much momentum at this point that he should be unconscious, or maybe even already dead. He should have just plummeted through those thousands of flowers and smashed it to a bloody pulp. And then Leaf Lady can just cover it up uncomfortably.
It's like, he's fine!
Wow, that's shocking that was Reese Witherspoon.
Yep, I kind of looked away too, but the fact that I was seeing two of the ladies, I was seeing Mrs. Who and Mrs. Witch, and the third one is Mrs. What's-It, the plant lady, and I'm like, wait, where's Mrs. Wait, is she the... Oh, fuck, and I had that moment of realization. You did, but it was while I was watching it, and it was pure horror. I was like, she's a fucking monster! Oh God, kill it with fire!
It didn't even mean anything.
No.
That was my huge problem with a lot of the movies. These things would happen, and you didn't care. Because, again, like, I should have understood what the movie was going for in the very beginning, or at least very close to the beginning. And it wasn't until we met the Zach Galifianakis character that I got it. And that's when I started to care. I'm like, why couldn't I know this earlier? Because all these characters are being introduced, and they're going into these different worlds, and I'm thinking, okay, that's nice, but why do I give a fuck? I didn't get why I was supposed to give a fuck. And you just have this girl that clearly doesn't like herself, and her annoying younger brother that's like, I'm a great child actor!
And I'm very smart, and I'm just like, I don't care about this kid.
He's probably that kid that just acts like really happy about everything as an actual person. I don't know why I'm attacking the actual actor.
You just want
right
to clothesline this child.
He's probably smiling like, hi, I hope you're having a great day, but he just cares about himself. Fuck this child.
It was a real challenge for him to play the villain later on because he's such a nice, friendly boy. And it's like, all right, for this scene, little 6-year-old, you have to play an interdimensional demon thing that hates all life on Earth. And I just feel like to direct that for like a 6-year-old would be difficult.
Yeah, he pulled it off. I liked that when he was doing it, he kind of skipped around a bit. He was cavorting, but also it wasn't great.
No,
it
not really
wasn't.
No,
but yeah, in the beginning you have those two, and then you just have this random boy that basically comes out of nowhere.
Literally, he pops up, and I'm just like, whoa!
Yeah. He's like, hey, can I hang out? Like, why? I just feel like I should be here. Okay.
And they never say why.
He's just there the rest of the movie. I'm like, who the fuck are you?
He just has a dad who hates him because he gets 80s in school.
And then there were those moments where they transport to a planet. There's that one point where it's the guy and the girl, and then the little brother is missing. They're like, where is he? And they just run away.
They just accept it all right, he's dead probably.
Yeah, I mean, they don't... I feel like the sister should have been much more concerned about
definitely.
the whereabouts. But let's just talk about that. They're running away from this tornado or whatever.
That's wiping out a whole forest.
And I'm thinking, all right, I just barely was introduced to why I should care about this movie, because the scene before tapped on the metaphor, but I'm still not all the way there.
Right.
And I have this tornado, and I go, okay, well, I guess I'm kind of starting to go, uh-oh, they could go into that tornado, but I'm not going to care if they die.
No.
But then the girl looks at the tornado, and they realize they have to get over a wall because the tornado can't get them over the wall. She goes, the tornado creature is picking up objects and throwing them over the wall. We have to get picked up and thrown. And prior to this, I was seeing the tornado suck up all these objects and going, oh, wow, what a real threat. But then that became the solution, so I no longer had a reason to even find it to be a threat anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, so I guess I don't care.
Yeah. There's all this tense music playing, it's like, oh, this is really scary, but it's like, you already established that's gonna be your vehicle for getting over the wall, so where's the fucking tension?
Yeah. And then they get over the wall, and the little boy's back. He's like,
He's
oh, there you are!
He's just there. Wait, how the fuck did you get up here already?
I'm pretty sure they never explained it.
No, they did not.
There's a part toward the end where the dad character and the boy just disappear for a while the main girl and the little brother have some business and sort some shit out for the big finale.
Yeah.
And you didn't really know where they wound up until they returned back to Earth, and you saw that they were just standing in the yard.
Just waiting.
I'm like, how long were they there for? I mean, were they having just an uncomfortable conversation? Like, here, no, you be the dad.
Okay.
I'll be the little boy.
So, how long have you known my daughter for?
I've known her for a day, I think. Yeah.
Really? A day? You went on a life-changing, like, across the universe journey with this person you just met?
I don't know if my life changed. I don't think I learned anything.
Oh, well, I guess that's acceptable. Anyways, I've been trapped in a space-time continuum prison for about 4 years.
Oh. Really?
Yeah, yep, yeah.
I like your shoes.
I like you.
And then start genuinely like that's the shoes, and so they come back. Like no, everyone comes back and they're
hey, you have a new brother now.
Meet your new dad.
You now have 2 dads, and one's your age.
They trade lives. Like, I've always wanted to be a high school boy again.
And I always wanted to be a dad.
But I've always been too scared to use my wiener. So now I can have children without having to touch my wiener.
Just the way God intended.
I would like that. I would like that twist where the main character goes on this journey and then totally pointless to the entire theme. Oh, awesome. Now you have a new dad. Actually, that's the whole movie trying to find this one dad finally reconnects. And it's this boy. Wait, what? Just imagine the ending where you have the mom and she hasn't seen the dad for a really long time. And then the little brother comes in and says, we have a surprise for you. And the mom is just, what? And you can see in her eyes that she thinks, could it be? Could my husband have returned? No, it can't be. But is it? And then walking around the corner is that useless teenage boy. Goes, honey, I'm back.
And the mom is just like, I'm sorry?
You're my wife now.
And
then the other dad comes in on a skateboard. What's going on, fellas?
Hey. Just like, I'm in love with your daughter. The dad wants the fucking... Because I'm in the role of the romantic interest now, right? That's okay? That's cool? Dad, I'm a teenager.
I don't know, Dad. You haven't been in my life for 4 years.
Can I touch you?
Like, I'll be really into your life now.
A little too into it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we don't want to go down that road now that I think about it.
This isn't going to make it in.
Let's pull that back.
The thing that inherently bothers me about this movie, and I don't know if it's right to hold this against the movie, because I didn't read the book that this is based on, but when I saw the trailer and I hear the title, A Wrinkle in Time, I believe there was a trailer where they explained what A Wrinkle in Time was. It was something the main character was talking about. There's 2 points, and how do you get from one point to the other instantaneously? Well, what if you create a wrinkle? And that, paired with other things that were in the trailers, made me think, okay, this is going to be a really smart science fantasy sort of movie, which is great because usually with science you get some clever stuff, things that are thought out, and that's a lot of fun. But then that scene that was in that trailer where she explains what A Wrinkle in Time is
doesn't exist.
It wasn't even in the movie at all.
Nope. Nothing.
And the movie wasn't like that. With the title A Wrinkle in Time, for me, and maybe I was just led this way because of the trailers, but for me, I'm thinking that I'm going to get some really interesting, smart science, but instead,
hey, we're magical creatures and we got powers. That's about it.
There was a brief mention of science early on in the movie. The mom was like one kind of scientist, and the dad was a scientist. And they were giving a lecture in front of an audience, and the dad was like, "So we can squish time together, and then we could jump through space." And everyone's like, "That is silly, sir," and they laughed him out of the room. And that was it. That was the only like science talk.
Yeah. Also, that wasn't really resolved now that I think about it, because, I mean, the movie ended and you don't know if the dad, like...
Did anything.
Like, was no longer shamed in the
It looked like he gave
community.
up on science. He chose family over, like, progress, like, humanity getting to the next stage of, like, technological evolution.
He technically made the progress, though. Can he prove it?
It didn't look like there was any sign he was going to do that.
There's actually all these unanswered questions now that I think about it.
It just makes it kind of worse.
If you're trying to think about, so what's up with the dad? What's going to happen there?
We don't know.
There's too much to think about. I'm just saying, maybe a little bit of science explanation would have helped me accept Reese Witherspoon tree monster a little bit better.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm leaves now.
Just like, actually, E equals MC squared explains how she becomes a leaf monster.
Seriously, if they had some stupid... How do you get from one leaf to the other leaf instantaneously? Well...
Quantum mechanics!
will turn you into a leaf monster, letting you travel to leaves instantaneously. I don't know. Something like that.
Yeah, speaking of the title and you mentioning the books, the thing I remember the most, like, I tried to read it as a kid. I couldn't get into it because, like, either the language was too, like, in-depth or I just couldn't get into the story. But one thing I do remember from the book is on the front cover is a centaur, which, you know, the half-man, half-horse thing. There's a fucking centaur flying through space and time, and...
Wait, flying? Like it has
like
wings?
it's in the air. It's in the air. I'm pretty sure it had wings. But
show me a picture of this. I need to see this.
There was no fucking centaur in the motherfucking goddamn movie.
What? Do you remember in the book why there was a centaur?
I didn't read the whole book.
Oh, so you just saw the cover.
For all I know, the cover designer just didn't get the memo, like, hey, this book doesn't have centaurs in it. And the cover designer was like, I really fucking like centaurs. I'm gonna draw one. I don't care if they fucking fire me. And they were on a deadline, so they're like, we don't have time to get another cover guy. We're just going with this one.
It was the publisher's fault. They hired the centaur cover guy.
Yeah, you gotta look into that
Yeah,
shit.
they didn't read that part of his job description.
I'm looking for the picture of that one cover.
Oh, while you look for it, I can move on to the other movie.
All right,
Just
yeah,
start
go
talking about
for
that.
it. Go for it.
Game night. I didn't like it. Okay, so we'll move on to the other movie. Wait,
well, we gotta talk about that. Yeah, no, we can talk about it more. A little bit.
All right, here is my summary of what I felt about Game Night.
Okay, I found the centaur cover.
Okay, let me see.
Actually, holy shit, I found 2 centaur covers.
There's 2 different variations of the centaur.
Okay, check out the first one.
Okay, let me describe this to the listeners. One, this looks biblical. Like, you have the poster, I believe, for Wrinkle in Time, and you just see a bunch of silly magic creatures that they aren't even smiling. They're just kind of doing that stoic, like, I'm frowning a little bit.
Yeah,
but
I'm sincere.
Their heads are just popping up, like, out of the sides of the poster, so it just kind of looks like a
weird.
wacky comedy or something. In this, you have this stark, harsh lighting on this centaur. Its front legs are kicked up and its human arms are spread out and it's just looking into the sky. And the font, a wrinkle in time. If I were to give a voice to font.
Yeah. Okay, that's image.
That story was a little different.
Image 1, yeah. Unless, again, so this makes me think there was definitely a centaur, because it's in 2 different book covers. Okay, look at the second one.
That one has wings.
Yeah.
That one is flying. Are the arms made of fire?
And
Because it doesn't have arms.
This is an older looking cover. This looks like it was made in the 70s. That looked like it was made in like mid 2000s. So this spans decades. A centaur being in A Wrinkle in Time, unless two book cover designers spanning decades made the same fucking mistake.
It's the centaur
Same
guy.
dude. Just like, oh shit, we picked the wrong book.
We hired him again? How do we keep making this mistake?
We're goofs.
What are the odds?
All right, well, enough about centaurs and A Wrinkle in Time. Let's get into game night.
Yeah, my main problem with game night is, this is a generalization, but I feel with comedy movies, you have two styles that you can go with. You can go with where things are heightened and it kind of feels like a wacky sketch comedy kind of thing, and things are ridiculous and exaggerated, but that's the tone, so you're able to buy into it. Or you can do it where things are grounded, and so all the humor tends to be a little more subtle, and it's stuff that you can believe actually happens, and that's where the humor comes from. I love both of these a lot. It'd be hard to pick which one I like better, because I genuinely think both are hilarious. But I really don't think you should mix them. I think that they are really in conflict with each other.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of comedies recently that just mix them. And this movie did that. This movie was mostly grounded, which was good. But then there would be moments where it just suddenly got wacky and ridiculous. And the problem is, in order to buy into ridiculous stuff, you have to know, okay, this is a ridiculous movie. But if it's grounded and then it gets ridiculous, you just, well, I don't believe that. It doesn't make sense. And you don't laugh.
Yeah.
So it's not funny. An example, if I had to give one, is you have Rachel McAdams.
Yeah.
And there's a bad guy, and because of something that happens, the bad guy gets sucked into a jet turbine and it explodes into a bloody mess. And instead of acting horrified, which you would expect, Rachel McAdams goes, yes! Oh no, he's dead. Like just trying to feign like she was upset by that.
Yikes.
But everything else that happened in this movie, when there's any sort of violence, it genuinely freaked out these characters.
It was sincere.
So to suddenly have her just take it so well, and there wasn't a moment where she thought, now I've learned how to see horrifying things and it's all okay. We didn't get that moment.
No.
So honestly, I saw it and I went, you know what? She probably just did a funny take, and that's so funny. We got to put it in the movie.
She's showing her comedy side.
But it was bad. And I'm not saying this is like enormous. I mean, it was definitely a problem, but it's not the worst I've ever seen, the mixing of these two comedy styles. But
Yeah.
that bothered me the most. I think the real problem, though, is that it wasn't funny.
Yeah, there was another example of the comedy scenes falling flat that made me say, this isn't a comedy, this is just a poorly written drama with failed elements of comedy, was between the this couple, because it was like a couple's game night, and they were having a drinking game, and they were doing Never Have I Ever, and the thing they said was like, never have I ever slept with a celebrity, and the wife takes a drink, and the husband's like, whoa, hey, what the fuck, what do you mean? And then for the next like half hour or 40 minutes, this background plot with these two characters we don't really care about kind of plays out, and we see in different scenes them kind of wrestling with this issue, and it's just like, they meant it to be funny, but it just seemed like a domestic dispute, and it was just like, I really hope they sort this out, because it's not bringing me any pleasure.
Yeah, exactly. Because the thing is, the movie wanted to be a comedy, but was actually a drama, and it failed at being a drama.
I felt very little tension, and that plot line was wrapped up with like, hey, so I slept with Denzel Washington. The guy's like, oh, really, Denzel? I can't keep up with... And he looks at a picture. That's not Denzel Washington. She's like, yes, it is. And he's like, no, it's not. And then that resolves it, sort of. It doesn't... It's not even really resolved. It's just like, that's the punchline. Haha, knee slapper, right, everyone? Everyone's rolling on the floor laughing, right?
I genuinely thought it would lead to something. I thought the fact... Because this was a couple where they've been together for a really long time, and I thought, the fact that she cheated on this guy, that's gonna lead to something.
But he also got a hand job around the same time they were having a relationship break.
Oh, that's a very important detail.
Yeah.
But the point is, I wanted it to lead to something because I don't fucking care about the hand job thing.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
And I don't know why it was in the movie. It was just a subplot, and if it was there to be funny, okay, but that was the whole joke. She thought she slept with Denzel Washington, but she didn't.
It was just a lumpy-faced dude who kind of looked like him. But I don't know. I'm trying to think of a reason they'd put that in there because it wasn't fucking funny on any level whatsoever. So I was like thinking, well, they couldn't think of more like characterization for the two black characters because it was mostly a white movie and there were only two black characters in it. So maybe they're like, oh shit, we forgot to like give personalities to these two black characters. What are we gonna do? Let's just make them fight.
I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah, I don't know.
You took it to the race place.
Ah, shit, I did it again.
Welcome to the race place. Can I take your order?
I was trying to hold back after the whole Black Panther fiasco.
No, we're back in the race place.
There's no escape. All right, okay, we gotta get out of the race place before I get myself in real hot water.
If I were to say some good things about the movie.
Yeah.
I liked Rachel McAdams and...
Jason Bateman?
Yes, for some reason, I wanted to say a completely different name.
Norman Bates?
No, I'm trying to think of the other name that I was thinking. Who's that guy? Michael Bolton.
Michael Bolton?
I don't know. For some reason, Jason Bateman and Michael Bolton, I just get their names mixed up. Do they look like each other at all?
They're both middle-aged men with brown hair.
I feel like Michael Bolton's even older than middle-aged at this point.
Probably.
I don't even think
He's
that's
like
a reasonable mix-up.
Mid to late 50s, probably.
I don't know. But anyway, Rachel McAdams and Michael Bolton had great chemistry together.
Oh, they sure did.
And I liked Zach Galifianakis.
Wait, no, that's Wrinkle in Time.
Yeah, I just want to say that I liked it.
We're going back. Okay.
He was funny when he said 2 jokes in A Wrinkle in Time.
And then those were the only, like, funny moments.
I guess if I'm saying that was funny to make Game Night seem funnier. There's one character that we both really liked.
Yeah.
It's played by...
Jesse Plemons.
Yeah, and it was this...
He's basically chubbier, more ginger Matt Damon.
I call him fatter, better Matt Damon.
Fatter, better, harder, stronger.
Fatter, better Matt Damon. It starts off, you're going, oh, hey, that's not very nice. But then I say better, and you're like, oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
But that was grounded comedy because he was a very... weird character where he just treated these moments that were not dramatic very dramatically, and there'd always be great camera work that was just taking the moment way too seriously. But you just bought into it. It seemed believable. And then there'd be these weird moments where he'd just be holding a dog and having a lamb chop in the other hand, or like a
lamb shank.
Lamb shank, that's right.
Yeah.
And he'd just be talking so seriously, and I think you got to give credit to the actor. You just bought into it. You believed it. And that was really funny to me.
Yeah. That there were certain scenes, every scene he showed up in, we were usually laughing to some capacity.
Yeah. And the movie had a good twist, I guess, toward the end. But then, you didn't really get to spend much time going, oh, that's a good twist, because then the movie kind of had another twist.
Right at the in the last 15
No,
seconds.
I'm not even talking about that one. After the first twist, okay, so you have a game night, and the plot of this movie, if we're gonna get into it, is that this one guy says, we're I'm gonna explain this and realize how dumb this sounds.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a game night, but in this game night, instead of playing charades, I'm gonna hire people to come in and make it look like someone's getting kidnapped. And then you guys have to solve it by finding clues. Which, you know what? It doesn't sound like something that happens. But then the thing is, oh no, there's a mix-up. There are real people. They kidnapped one of the guys. And then the twist that they have when the movie is chugging toward the end of the second act is, oh, it was actually a game the whole time. And you go,
that Jesse Plemons set up to like get revenge on them because they never invited him to game night.
I went, okay, that's interesting. And you get to enjoy that twist, but barely, because then they go, wait a minute, but this stuff isn't part of the game that I set up. And then you're back into, oh, this is all real.
Yeah,
And that's
barely
it.
can enjoy the funny twist.
You were mentioning the thing that happened at the end, though, which I would
Yeah.
love to explain. What always bothers me in movies that have the mob, and this basically had the mob in it, is that it's not something where you just kill the bad mob guy and it's over. Because with the mob, it's like once they don't like you, they got people. And no matter how many of them you kill,
There's
like,
always going to be
yeah,
more.
there's always going to be someone that's going to want to try to kill you.
Yeah.
And I feel like in those, once you're marked, you got to be running for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Your comfortable life is over. You're always going to be paranoid.
Witness protection program. And they didn't do that.
Well, in a lot of these movies, they just treat it like, oh, you just have to kill these two main mob guys, and then you're fine. And that's basically what happened here.
Yeah.
I don't even think they killed them.
No, they just knocked him out with like a fire extinguisher or
something like that. Oh, one of them went through a jet turbine. That wasn't very fair.
Well,
the other one
yeah.
just, I'm going to tie you up in a silly way. Like, one of them got off much better than the other one
Yeah,
did.
just like make it look like he's blowing himself or getting sucked into a jet turbine and dying violently.
Which one do you pick, Nick? If you had to get sucked into a jet turbine or be tied in a way where your face is near your dick,
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's a tough decision.
I mean,
which one do you think?
I'd prefer the dick one. Because I've thought about doing that.
Me personally, I'd have to go with the jet turbine.
You couldn't handle the shame of being seen that way. The authorities show up like, it's not what it looks like. I swear. And Jason Bateman's like, yes, it is.
The mob is killed.
Yeah.
And they have this happy ending. Like, I'm pregnant! Hooray! And you think the movie is going to end there.
Right.
But then, as it's zooming out, you see that there's a guy with a gun, and he cocks it.
Not just a guy. There's a few guys.
That's
in
true.
masks.
There's two guys, I believe. And then it cuts to end credits. And what it's supposed to be is a, here we go again! But if you take even 3 seconds to start asking questions, you
It
go,
falls apart.
wait, they're not doing another one of those game nights where they have actors that come and pretend to kidnap you.
Those guys look
So,
serious.
what is this? And it has to be the mob,
Their
and
lives
they're
are in
out to
danger.
try to kill him again.
Yep.
So it's a really upsetting ending. You go, oh,
They might die.
it's not even funny.
No.
It's just kind of sad.
It's just like also an infant's life might be in danger. She's pregnant, and if she dies, that's her fetus dying and her dying.
That's true. I like to think this was just an art movie where it
What?
was 90 minutes of failed comedy, and then it just suddenly has a really grim ending. Kind of like what Clerks wanted to do. Do you know the Clerks deleted ending? Have you heard of it?
I don't think so.
In Clerks, it's a funny movie, and I remember liking the movie. I
Yeah.
think it was a good comedy. But they were supposed to have an ending where a robber comes in and shoots the main character in the head,
Oh.
and then it ends.
Oh.
And, I mean,
That would be I don't know.
yeah, I think it's
I'd
very
like
interesting.
that. That'd be gutsy.
But we don't need that because we have Game Night, which did it on accident.
It just kind of ruins the rest of the movie. Well,
I
rest
mean,
of the movie ruined the rest
If
of the
anything,
movie.
it makes the movie better because it
By
goes from being
accident.
this lame comedy to just this
Gripping
shockingly
drama.
Yeah, just this unexpectedly grim tale of, hey, no matter what you do, you can't run from your fate.
There's no escape from death.
Yeah. That's
From
what
the people who made horrible bosses.
That's the problem. I don't think that would have been a catchy. There's no escape from death. And
As a tagline.
maybe Game Night will be better. Let's call it Game Night. You sure you don't know escape from death? What about you will not be able to avoid the grave? Like,
This is pretty catchy.
how about The mob will kill you, no matter how many people in the mob you kill yourself.
I don't know, Billy. It's a bit of a stretch. We usually like 2-word titles here.
All right, I'll make you a deal. We'll name it Game Night. But there has to be a centaur on the poster.
Wrinkle in time, guy. How'd you get in here?
Hey, it's me!
Get out of here, you! Go on, get!
And also, I mean, I believe there was a centaur in the poster for Death Wish.
No,
Oh, what was in the poster for Death Wish?
just Bruce Willis.
Oh.
Like, his silhouette against, like, an urban backdrop, and he was holding a gun.
Oh, what was that movie about? It had a gun? That's interesting.
There were guns involved.
Okay.
We'll
Well,
say
that sounds
that.
harmless.
And Bruce Willis holding guns.
Well, that sounds fine. I can't imagine this stirring up any controversy.
Oh, no, absolutely not. It completely just flew under the radar of everyone.
Unless there's something else about it that might be making people worried. Do you think there is?
What? Well, now that you mention it, there was a guy who was killed by a bowling ball.
That's true. I think a lot of bowlers are going to be upset by that.
Like, they're going to be like, not all bowlers are
Not all
going to
bowlers.
leave their bowling ball up on a high perch that could be dropped down and crush someone's skull.
That was genuinely stupid.
That was like a Tom and Jerry moment, but in a serious, gritty, violent drama, that was really just, no.
Well, here's the thing. This movie is polarizing because it's essentially about a character that decides to go, the police, they're not doing their job all the way. So what I'm going to do is take the law into my own hands and be a vigilante and kill some bad guys with the gun. Isn't it great that I am able to own a gun and use a gun even though I'm not a cop? Now, there are two ways that this movie can be taken. A lot of people are taking it going, this is horrible timing. Because with these school shootings happening, and this presidency, and all of this violence, the last thing we need is a movie that is telling people, yes, go buy guns and take matters into your own hands. But some people will see this movie and go, this is perfect timing. Right when I'm feeling really threatened, like people don't want me to be able to own a gun and are trying to take away my Second Amendment right, we have a movie coming out that is showing how awesome it is to have a gun, how important it is to have a gun, how empowering it is to have a gun. This is just what I wanted to see. It's restoring my faith in our country. I'm gonna go get 1 billion guns. So, it just depends on,
Your perspective.
yeah, your perspective. But I think we can say that if you have the perspective of being a little worried about guns, this is spectacularly bad timing.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, Nick.
Yeah.
I kind of liked this movie. I just like movies where you have a guy and he's like, I want to get revenge by making bad guys go boom. And then he takes his weapon and, hey, bad guy, yes, boom, ouch. And he's gone. And then he does that with a lot more bad guys. And then the biggest bad guy goes the biggest boom.
Your description of like a revenge movie sounds better than this revenge. I'd watch your baby version of a revenge film, like, and then the bad guy go bang bang, and then go ow.
Just Death Wish with babies. That's
Bruce Willis is just a really wrinkled baby.
That's what America needs. Just the Boss Baby animation with all those babies. But they're just killing each other.
Just like, I'm taking the law into my own hands as a 1-year-old.
The thing is, I did genuinely think that there were scenes that were tense. And I'm because the thing is, guns, you have this very basic instinct. Oh, uh-oh, you don't want to see that guy get shot. And so it works on a very basic level. You're like, I want to make sure this person gets out of this one alive.
Yeah.
And I mean, I do admit that Bruce Willis seems completely miscast as a doctor because he has hands where it looks like
They're just
he,
guns.
he would try to open a bag of chips and they just
Explode.
Yeah, it'd explode and you just have thousands of chip particles. Like,
He's just like, I am a monster.
so I don't believe for a second he can hold a delicate
scalpel.
tool. Like, yeah,
Like, he just, like, all right, nurse, hand me the scalpel. And he just reaches toward it and just violently cuts the person open. I'm sorry, we lost him. I couldn't, I did everything I could. And he just slits the patient's throat. And I'm just like, he's just like, I was trying to cut his pancreas open.
he's the best doctor we've got.
All our doctors are murderers.
Action doctor.
Just like, I've got to save this patient's life. He gets out a handgun and just shoots them. Just
Open heart surgery. Just literally takes some bare hands.
rips the heart out.
Now what?
I just put it back in, I guess.
Scalpel. Takes the scalpel holding the heart in one hand and then fucking stabs the person in the fucking skull. I did it.
It's like, oh, wow, that was a rough one.
Yes, Bruce Willis definitely miscast as a doctor. I still kind of like this character. I don't know what it was. I don't know why. When I saw him in these action scenes, I was thinking, I don't want him to die. It's probably because of that basic, I want to see bad guys go boom.
And they can't go boom if the good guy's dead.
Yeah, and the bad guys were bad enough where I was able to think of them as bad guys, and so it was easy for my brain to go, so Bruce Willis must be good guy. And that's why those scenes worked for me, because you have the very basic good guy, bad guy setup, you have the very basic, there's guns setup, and it just worked for me. These scenes would happen, and I go, oh man, I hope he doesn't get shot. And I liked that one scene, except for the bowling ball at the end. We'll call it the bowling ball scene, because I can't think of anything else to call it. Everything was good, and then
to that
the
point.
bad guy is finished off by a bowling ball.
Yeah.
Just dumb. Like, oh no, the bowling ball on the shelf fell off.
Classic.
Who in their right mind would put a bowling ball that high?
Like,
It's
if there
so
was, like,
stupid.
even the slightest tremor from, like, tectonic plates shifting, that would kill someone.
Awful.
Yep.
But I don't know, man.
It's just that the original film, I didn't see it, but from what I've read, the film wasn't just about getting mindless revenge. It was about him feeling the need for it, but then feeling remorse. And, like, him realizing that revenge isn't a dish best served cold. It's best not served at all, because it's not going to fill the void in your heart. And in this, it's just like, it's not going to fill the void, but it feels pretty fucking good, bro.
Yeah, it's hard to say this movie wasn't definitely glorifying the idea of being a vigilante. And, I've seen movies like Kick-Ass and I'm like, cool, vigilante.
Batman technically was a vigilante.
Yeah, Batman is a vigilante, definitely.
Yeah, but those showed the dark side in a certain way of, like, being a vigilante, like him being alone. And this, it was just like, hey, one guy tried to be like me and he got shot. Well, that's over. That's the closest thing to the movie being like, hey, this is irresponsible.
There really wasn't much of a dark side. I mean, the only problem he has, I hope people don't find out who I am.
Yeah. I don't want to go to prison and not be able to shoot bad guys anymore.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to say it's the best Bad Guys Go Boom movie out
We got
there.
John Wick for that.
Yes, exactly. John Wick did this much better.
And The Punisher.
Wait. I haven't seen The Punisher, but John Wick nailed what Death Wish was trying to be. And John Wick, had the advantage of not being spectacularly bad timing.
Well, yeah.
And that's the thing. This has a very low score, apparently. And I'm pretty sure it comes from it's not a great movie, but I think a lot of people's hate for it is because they think it's bad timing.
Yeah.
But is that fair? Because I do think it's kind of a political stance to say that it's bad timing, and some people might not think that it's bad timing.
I think any time you release a movie that says it's okay to shoot random people with guns and not have any consequences for it. Anytime you release that is bad timing, whether it's in the 1940s, whether it's the present, whether it's the year 2978. Anyway, it's like just like throwing the law out the window for your own potentially misguided sense of justice is irresponsible.
Well, they weren't random people. They were bad guys.
They were bad guys from what he knew.
Yeah. But that is kind of saying that Batman is in a way irresponsible.
Yes, he is. But Batman's also like... He doesn't kill people.
And he's a bat.
He doesn't kill people.
So I think if Bruce Willis dressed up as an animal, like Bruce Willis as a woodpecker, killing people, just in a woodpecker costume.
Woodpecker.
With the voice of Bruce Willis.
As a vigilante.
Going around killing drug dealers.
And woodland critters that are corrupt.
Someone killed my wife and put my daughter in a coma. So I'm going to take the law into my own hands.
In a Woody Woodpecker costume.
I would have been into that.
That would have been okay. Yeah,
see, no, seriously though, right? Like, politics would kind of go out the window if he was in a woodpecker costume.
Just like even the people on the left that are like, guns scare me, like they'd be like, you know what? That's pretty cool. I'm scared of guns and everything, but that woodpecker costume makes it all okay.
It's just, okay, Bruce Willis in a woodpecker costume is enough, but this wouldn't even make sense in the context of this fictional movie that we're making up. Having him be a doctor in a woodpecker costume.
He never gets out of it.
I was trying to think, would I believe Bruce Willis as a doctor more if he was in a woodpecker suit?
Yes.
Like, I guess I would. I mean, he's in a woodpecker suit, so this is already fucking nuts. So I guess he could be a doctor, too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I feel a little better.
Yeah.
Though now that I said that, it reminds me that I should be angry again.
Right. The whole...
Say genuinely.
Yeah.
With as much sincerity as you can muster.
Okay.
I want you to say another bad thing about Hey Man.
Hey Man. But wait, no, hey man? Did he say hey or hey man?
He said hey, but he is the man that is
of
said
hey.
He's the man of hey.
Okay.
So he therefore is hey man.
Think. Okay. Well, not being able to commit to following through with a Facebook message, like not being able to see your message of like hope, like being like if you see someone reach out to you and be like, yeah, are you interested in helping us out? And for that person to not even bother to say like, oh, I'm sorry, I just wanted to have a casual conversation with you about the weather or about baseball or fucking anything. For them to not say that or like, yes, absolutely, I know everything about like setting up a social media page. Neither option, they go for option C, the worst option, which is nothing. That shows that they're a coward and they're not willing to commit to anything. And the fact that they're not willing to take risk in life shows that they're never going to accomplish anything. And their life is going to amount to nothing. And they'll die alone and afraid.
That was intense. I liked it though.
So we still got to get that social media shit figured out.
Yes.
For sure.
I feel like I might have made people not want to help us out because we really targeted one potential helper.
Real social media people, if you're out there, we're more than happy to compensate you in some... We don't have money exactly.
Yeah, compensate
you with...
we'll play them one of our songs, definitely.
We can write a song for them? Okay, I don't want to tie us into something
I just don't know if that'd
creatively.
be the right direction for the band.
Maybe. It might be compromising our image. Maybe we can reference their name in a song? Maybe. It's not...
We'll have to talk about it.
Okay, yeah. We'll workshop.
But we need help. So help us out. And also, if you have any audio needs... You can come on down to the Fisher Mist Media place. I'm messing this up.
Almost forgot.
You can do audio here, movie audio, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what kind of movie you're making. Little Hollywood, you can definitely get your audio.
Hollywood
needs done
especially,
here.
right?
Yeah, well, I mean, they do a lot of music. I think that's most of what they do. But
Yeah.
you can absolutely do Hollywood
Voiceovers.
movie audio here. But podcasts,
Yeah.
anything audio related. Come to Fisherman's Media. They'll hook you up. They're great. And I think this podcast got better. I think, despite the fact we're not really being allowed to utilize much of Fisherman's Media's stuff. We're figuring it out. This is good.
Smoother audio, I think, for sure.
Yeah, we finally got the pop filter working, so that's nice.
Maybe we can bring that into our next recording session. We could borrow it. Maybe.
That's the dream. That's the dream. I
You
hope
think
it happens.
Mrs. Seelan will let us?
I mean, I don't know. Let's just keep the podcast going and see what happens.
Yeah.
All right. Guess that's it. Bye.
Bye.